when you start playing them type of games, that's a red flag.
But not everybody you meet you want to marry. I mean, really, being realistic. If you meet 10 people, how many out of 10, if there's even one that you would think of that you want to marry? I mean, how
who got 10 partners?
One. Huh?
Who got 10 partners?
Man, who's doing that 10 people at a time?
No, I didn't say 10. Well,
that's right.
Come on, Blocks,
what
man.
I'm saying.
You blowing things out of proportion.
If you,
He said,
See,
at a time, bro.
Look at you. Oh my
boy said 10 at a time. Gosh, you talking about 10 people, not 10 people at a time, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Being in a relationship with 10 people at a time. I know what I'm saying. What are you saying?
See, you got to be more specific, my brother.
Double up.
Get your mind out the gutter.
Double up. The money I cull up. Double up. The money I cull up.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Mohegans. This is Sylvia Young. Welcome to the #1 Culture Podcast with creator, techno guru, and graphic artist, Rawthentic, with co-hosts Baby LaJoy, Building Blocks, and Slap. Tonight, we're going to discuss when should you introduce your partner to your family before getting married. At the end of the podcast, we welcome your comments and critiques. So hold on, you're in for a very interesting discussion, and thank you for tuning in. The floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. How are you today?
Hey.
We coming in from we got the down south dirty, and we got over there in the west coast. But Slap having technical difficulties, so he's not going to be with us tonight. And of course, Big Daddy Brown is on deployment, so we're filling in for Big Daddy Brown. And as Miss Sylvia Young mentioned about the meet your partner, your fiance, when should they meet the family before marriage? So, I since I've been married before, I think I might start this one now.
Go ahead.
My ex-husband met my family before we got married, but I never met his family before we got married. How ironic, right?
Low key, yeah.
So, but I did talk to his family over the phone and everything, and they were cool people, and I know that he had a lot of respect for them. So, I think more so what affected our marriage was military. To me, I think he was a great person, personality-wise, but due to our age, 22 and 24, I think that had a big impact on why the marriage didn't last outside of what we discussed from last week's topic. So, how do y'all feel about the family meeting, your significant other meeting your family before the question of marriage being popped up?
Well, for me, it was more of I run into family members before I actually meet the parents. When it comes down to relationships and getting serious, and buying the ring and saying, that's the fiance, setting the date and everything, I end up meeting family way before. I end up meeting family members way before I actually meet the parents. So, and prior to that, I actually meet some of my significant other's friends before, I meet the parents. I end up running into them. It may be a day where we're out having, going to get something to eat or whatnot, and it's just like, I may bump into, well, she may bump into one of her friends and be, introduce me or whatnot, or something like that. Uh, how I feel about that is, it makes me, I ain't gonna say it makes, it helps me understand, it helps me understand my spouse more, or the one that I'm getting ready to marry. I say it like that. It makes, it allows me to understand her more, where she comes from, the things that she's into, the things that she likes, the things that gets her riled up, whether it be good or bad, that's how I feel about that. Building, you on mute? What's up, man? Take yourself on mute and let me hear what you gotta say.
My bad. I was trying to set my phone up, and
Oh, you good, bro?
I have broke the thing, and it ain't even my thing. So,
Uh-oh.
so you know how that goes. But yeah, I mean, for myself, when it came to relationships, period, I thought it was a good thing for the person I was talking to meet my family. And so, that was I guess, family is a big thing to me, and it definitely lets you know who you're dealing with.
You got any scenarios?
Any scenarios of
where you had to meet maybe your girlfriend's family or something, or your baby moms or whatnot?
I mean, yeah, I got a lot of scenarios.
I know you do. I know you do. Let's say it like this. How did you feel about your significant other after you met the family?
Oh, well, the family doesn't make me determine how I feel about my significant other. They just give me, they let me know what I'm dealing with, what I'm getting myself into, if I'm getting myself into some, or what I'm saying, if I need to take it to, if I'm gonna take it to that next step, or if, what I mean, if there's a, that's what for me, that's what family does. They don't determine that's for the individual.
Right.
So,
Okay.
I'm curious.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm curious what you just
Uh-oh.
said. What if the significant other that you have is like the black sheep and the family holds themselves poised and composed together and they're not demonstrating the stuff that shows craziness?
Ooh, okay, that's a good one.
that's a good one.
Put on that Mr. Rogers smile. Come on, man.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
You say, so if the family, if they the black sheep of the family?
Yeah.
If my significant other is the black sheep of the family, and they're the one that is like the outcast person that is the most rowdy and speak their minds or whatever, but their family is all poised and held together, and they're demonstrating what you potentially want in your significant other, but you're trying to figure where that craziness is coming from, because
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess you would have to. I mean, if you want to, it depends on, I guess, how far and how strong you want to be connected with this person. And so, if you feel a strong connection, you'll take the time to dig deep and you know what I'm saying, figure that out. I would believe. But for me myself, I don't know. I've never been in that situation, so I can't tell you.
I guess that answer is fair. What you think,
Sylvia?
You can also say that if I'm the black sheep of the family,
Mm-hmm.
a gentleman is attracted to me, he doesn't know I'm the black sheep of the family.
Right.
It
Until
doesn't matter, what mannerisms the family has. Basically, I come from a very religious family. Um, so basically, when someone meet me, they don't pick that up. It's not that I don't believe, it's that I like to party too. So, everything for me has its own space and time. When I used to date, I didn't even have to be engaged. When I dated someone and liked them, I always introduced them to my mom because my mom would tell me if I was wasting my time. So I took them to my mom so she can scope them out so I wouldn't be making a big mistake. Okay, now as far as marriage, when I did have a fiance and stuff, I always met their friends and they met my friends because you want to know what circle they're running in because that is what influences their behavior. And I think the mistake I made is that I met all the friends, but I never met the family. And when I met the family after I married the gentleman, it was like, wow, we weren't compatible. And since family plays such a big role in his life, with me not being compatible with them, automatically, it just made the marriage a little negative because family can't discard family. They're there. Blood is blood. Blood is thicker than mud. And even though your spouse comes first, you still have your family. Your family will always be there to the end. So you find yourself in situations like that, you always have to compromise. But in hindsight, had I met them first, I would not have pursued, that gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
So
LaTroy, you want to say something real quick before I go into this story?
I think I was a black sheep.
hey,
Because I
sometimes I feel like the black sheep.
I was a firecracker
And
back
I
in the
come
day.
around family and they
I could tell you was.
all that
I
love.
could tell.
But to speak on that, as I got older and went through some trials and tribulation, it kind of mellowed me out. And we hit with the right person, I guess, if you say so, as Miss Sylvia mentioned in the last thing, they love you. It's gonna tame you. So you got to have the right mix that would tame you to where when you introduce the family, you feel comfortable in that predicament. Like my thing is, if I introduce people to my mother, I'm not really introducing them because I really want them to meet my mother. I'm introducing them because my mama's going to tell me something. And as I've done this so many times before in the past, if I introduce them to my mother and she tells me no, she's been 10 out of 10 times, right?
you certainly are. Absolutely.
And unfortunately, when I was young back then, it was it was one of one example, my kid's dad, I introduced mom to him. She was like, he's trying to do this XYZ, and she was 100 on that. And exactly what she said he was trying to do, that's what he did. When she met my ex-husband, she told me that we were going to get married or whatever. But I think problem is at the time that we got married. I believe if we'd have got married at the time that it was meant for us to be married, we probably would still be married. But at the time, because it was so rushed into, the marriage ended because it was too early, I guess. Too early, too young. Too young, too early. And then the ex-boyfriend after baby daddy, she told me, to him, and then she made this joke. So I thought it was more so about the joke, but she was like, "Why are you dating your brother?"
Damn.
That's what she threw at me. But
Mhm.
then there was another one that I introduced that was also young, like my brother, and
Mhm.
she put our hands in each other's hand, and she was like, "Take care of my daughter." However, because of the circumstances that's been going on between his personal life and my personal life, we still hadn't made that fully complete connection or whatnot. So we're still living our lives like single people do. And then there's this one famous football player. She's met him. And I introduced her to him because I'm like, she's a football fan. And she was like, y'all chemistry is so strong. Why don't y'all get together? And I think my daughter should be your wife. I was like, oh God, Mom. This is my friend. This is my friend. And he's worth like I think 11 million or whatever, but this is my friend, Mom. You can't just do that, Mom.
Right.
So yeah, she embarrassed me with that one.
Well, it was my first marriage. I met the parents before we had got married, and it was so much. The one had stuck to me was her grandmother. That was I say that was the icing on the cake that caused us to get married. So I would say it is a vital thing to, engage with the parents before y'all do tie that knot. And I met both sides of the family. I met the mother and the father. And one thing I learned out of that is when you're engaging in a significant other, it's more one-sided when it comes to the parents, especially when they're split up. It's like, okay, this person acted more like the father than the mother. Or in another case, it's acting like more like the mother than the father. Well, in my case, she presented herself more like her father than her mother. But I was always around her mother's side of the family. But I seen more of her father in her, and her father was more gangster. her father was a gangster, while the mother was a churchgoer. Yeah, and this was all in Little Rock, Arkansas, so it's crazy. Yeah. So when I would be around her father's side of the family, I was always around gangsters. Because because her cousins, brothers, sisters, all of them was in the streets. All of them on her dad's side of the family, and I was always around them. But like I said, I was more around her mother's side of the family because I guess she felt safer. Something like that. But anyways, prior to that, meeting her friends, helped me helped me dig deeper into her world of things, you know. So, and from my perspective, I say most of the friends that she hung out with was ratchet.
And you still married her?
Yeah.
That's it.
Now, this is me. Now, this is me being young and dumb. I was in my 20s.
Sucker, cuz.
So you
You ain't,
basically accepted
you ain't
her.
gonna be on the next episode, Builder. Now, yeah, I was young and dumb. But I did learn a lot from that BS though. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. I'm just gonna put it out there. One of her friends had hella kids, and she just kept having kids. It was like every year, or it was like every year she come in with a new kid, and we end up babysitting. Like,
Hey.
bruh, we didn't like.
I can't talk, man. That's what happened when I got back to Georgia. It seemed like I kept having babies.
No, but
it was like every
I
year
just
it's a
seen
new
the-
addition to the family.
I just seen the post. I
That
seen the
was
post
me from
today.
2004 to 2010. So I got them
But
things in the bud.
but long story short, but to make a long story short, if you in that young and dumb stage, just make sure you just get in depth with the family first. Get in depth with I say get in depth with the family, and definitely get in depth with the friends first, you know, because when I hung around her and her friends, you know, I seen more of her true colors come out. And when I seen that, I had to go. I done did everything I could. I didn't look past this. I didn't look past that. That was me being foolish, young, stupid, you know. So my advice to the youngins that's in that young and dumb stage, if you in that mindset where you say you're gonna look past the faults, don't do it.
And meanwhile, wake up building blocks.
What you talking about?
Yeah, he over there asleep.
Oh, okay, y'all just
Yeah.
see, y'all focus on what y'all doing.
Yeah, we focus on you. What you gotta say about that, bruh?
About being, I say, you say look at the friend, like if you're in that young and dumb stage. What you say?
I said if you in that mindset where love is blind and you saying that you're gonna look past your soulmate's faults, don't do it. Don't do it, you know, because those are red flags, period. You know. I was just saying, you know, how you feel about that comment. And that's all.
I mean, people grow up.
Yeah.
And start making them same faults. So I don't know. That might. I don't know. But if I see faults, I mean, from somebody else telling me about somebody's faults, and then for me seeing faults on my own, I don't know. I'm hard headed, so you know. Sometimes I done been in both. I done been on both sides of the coin, so you know what I mean. Like I done been hard headed and didn't listen, and they told me this, that, and the third, and I'm like, oh yeah, that ain't.
Yeah, I done been through that. Family members telling me she crazy.
And then, you know, I didn't also listen and maybe possibly avoided something, but then possibly missed out on something. You know, you never know. You know what I mean? It's a you just never know. You know what I mean? Even if you know what I mean. I don't,
Yeah, you got to keep that camera still, bro. I got nauseated for a minute.
you got nauseated. Well,
Yeah.
I got a lot of things going on right now. I'm trying to.
All right, 100 miles per minute. All right, Miss Sylvia,
Yes.
let's hear it.
I'm trying to get my focus back. So I'm just wondering, and even if you don't record this, is this a boring subject?
Not at all.
Okay,
I'm enjoying it.
okay. So I'm just trying to get my focus back. My focus went someplace else. Basically, what I have to say is, I think meeting relatives, meeting friends and relatives before you marry is great. And then there's also other things that you should do before you marry, such as discuss, your finances and what your financial goal is. If you want to have children, where you want to live, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's just more to it than just meeting relatives. Like I said, when I married, I didn't meet. I've been married twice. My first time I married, I met the family. And that was really important for me to meet the family because I had to learn to cook, cook the food and stuff. My husband was of a different culture. So meeting his mom and stuff, she gave me cooking lessons, okay, because she had spoiled her kids and stuff. And it was really good. And the second marriage is I didn't meet the family. And since his family has such an impact on him, it would have been important had I met them first because I wouldn't have married him. Because sometimes, family have more of an impact on your marriage than you even want to, than you realize, as far as financial, especially financial. You have, like my mom used to always tell me, a child does not ask to come here. And yes, if your parents are having some problems, you help them out once in a while, but you're still obligated to help them every time they come. It's a burden because now you're taken away from your family and your spouse comes first. Okay. Your spouse comes first before your mom, your dad, your sisters, and your brothers. So I experienced that with my husband. They said, well, they work, we worked. So of course you're going to have, as long as you're working, you're going to have something. I hope so. You're going to save some money. You're going to try and, reach your goals together. But every time we get there, they're always coming and, someone's having a problem here, or someone's having a problem there. And I don't mind helping sometime, but not all the time. When do you learn? When do you do what you're supposed to do? Why are you always going to come when you think I have money? Okay, so that's the problem I had. And I said, I'm not going to be in a situation because my family is not like that, So had I met the family and known that dynamic, no, I wouldn't have married them. And I don't think it's selfish. It's just that, I didn't marry him to take care of the family. Okay, if I can work, you can work. If I can save, you can save. You're not going to live better than me. My grandmother did that to my mom and her children. She was the only child. She was born in Norfolk, Virginia and stuff. She had a gifted life and her parents gave her that. And then she, she went up north. She had 6 kids and stuff. Never married. And as the kids got older and stuff, she made them guilty for not taking care of her. So they always had to take care of her. Now, I'm not being selfish. I'm just saying, my mother used to say to us, child don't ask me. And when she said that, what she meant is that it's not my obligation to take care of you. Yes, I am going to take care of you. If I have and you need, that's fine. But just outright take care of you, it's just a whole different thing. And you're still working and stuff. So I had one grandmother on my mother's side. That was her philosophy. The kids will take care of me. Give me what I want when I need it. And then you had my father's mother who worked 2 or 3 jobs to take care of us because my father didn't. So you had 2 dynamics here. And they never got along together because of that. They never got along together. So I've learned from, two different people and stuff. So my whole thing, you know how I feel about work, everybody knows that. So when I met my husband's family and I finally went there and found that everybody over the age of 30, 6 brothers and sisters, lived in the same house with their mom, that blew my whole mind. Because remember now, my mom said, if you're not going to college, you're out at 18. So it just blew my whole mind that you have all these grown people living in the house because everybody had to give her. And she was upset with my husband because he got out, went to the military. In other words, he escaped. He went to the military, lived someplace else and had a nice life. So she felt that we were supposed to give to her because our other kids did. And I had to tell her my philosophy. I blame you for these grown ass men living in your house over the age of 30 because you're not preparing them to take care of a family. You enabling them to do nothing. No man is supposed to be in their mother's house after the age of 30. So I had told her it's a good thing that he escaped and that anything she need, we would help, but he wasn't the one, or I wasn't the wife that was going to support that. So that put up a big wall there, but I was being honest. That's not my life. I didn't believe in it. So from my standpoint, it's very important to meet the family so you know what dynamic you deal with if you're gonna have to take care of that family.
Exactly.
So
because most of the time when men do that,
meeting the family,
they do live better than they do. I'm not about that.
So what if the significant other has a parent that's deceased, or the parent that took care of them the most is deceased, or in mother's case where her parents, she didn't know her parents, and so she was maybe about 3-4 years ago, and she was adopted,
Then that's where
What
the
does
friends
that have
come.
to do
That's
with
where
what
the
I was
friends.
saying?
That's
Yeah.
where the friends come in. That's
Yeah.
where the friends come in at. That's when you examine who she hangs around.
Yeah,
Because
it does.
that'll definitely tell you about that person's true colors.
Right. And most of the time when you know someone, it
Especially the
doesn't
closest friends.
Yeah.
I said it like that, the closest friends.
Yeah.
Mm.
And you'll know in reality, most of the time when you love someone, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
It really don't. We can sit here and philosophize and talk all this stuff we want. You usually, baby LaToya, we learn after the fact. So I learned after the fact. Like I said, my first marriage, I met the parents right up front because that was an interracial marriage. So they wanted to know everything about me and I wanted to know about them. The second marriage, I didn't meet them, but didn't realize it had such a big influence on my husband's life. I mean, big. He stayed conflicted all the time. So, when it interferes with your marriage because you can't decide who's number one, the spouse or the family, you got a problem. Okay. I call a lot of it immaturity too, but you have a problem. So I guess it just depends. So from that experience, my whole thing now, when I look back, is like, yes, if I'm gonna date someone, not date someone, if I'm gonna marry someone, I like to meet the family, And then again, if you start talking about race and kids, I want to know what is going on in the family. I have a sister that was schizophrenic. From all I have done my research, I didn't know schizophrenia and bipolar were inherited genes. So I want to know about that too, because that's going to impact whether or not I want children. Not everybody is cut out to take care of a disabled child. You know what I'm saying? Are we going to be together? Are you going to leave me with this child?
Right.
So, I mean, there's so many things to discuss and there's so many things that you find out from meeting the family. And then if you don't see that with the family, I think it's up to the man and the woman to be honest and let them know what's going on. I have breast cancer is rapid in my family. So of course, before I marry someone, I'm going to tell them that, like I said, schizophrenic, anxiety, depression, and all these are genetic and inherited. I'm going to let them know that. Okay. So I just think it's important.
I agree with you.
Then being open with who you're going to marry. And then, I want to know if you have good credit. Are we going to be struggling? I can't get a house because you don't have credit or whatever. I would, so all of these are important. Discussing the finances, being truthful. Maybe we need to hold up this wedding until your credit gets up to 600. And I'm not.
Right.
What do you bring it?
Real shit.
Bring it. What are you bringing to it? Is that important that you have good credit? Well, for most couples,
What your credit score looking like? What your background looking like?
It's important because it's going to determine where we living at, how
Got to run background checks
and the whole bit. So, these honest conversations and these reveals, I'll put it like that. And I think it's all important.
But don't usually they start revealing who they are 6
run a
months.
background check on the parents too.
Yeah, well, when you first going out with someone, you're not thinking about marriage anyway. So you don't have to, do all of that. But when it start getting serious, that's when we start having these serious conversations because everybody's not going to show their hand. I've had friends I didn't really know they didn't show their hands maybe 6 years later and stuff, which was
who the first one that brings it up though? It'd be the woman.
Yeah, but things happen, that brings out the big reveal, things do happen. So
it all starts with that flower and that candy.
Is that what it is?
That's
Okay.
Candy.
That flower, that candy, and that good old sex.
Oh.
Oh.
I don't know nothing about that then.
So
what you talking about? What you mean you don't know nothing about that?
When y'all meet people, y'all
I don't know nothing about no flower candy and
y'all don't already you know what I'm saying? Like I see myself, I can see myself marrying this person before
You ain't never got the big old heart with the chocolates in it, LaTroy.
I can hear what you said. What's happening?
I said, y'all, so when y'all meet people, y'all don't already be looking at, damn, is this marriage? You know what I'm saying? Like when the visual, is that marriage material? Like y'all don't do that?
No, not when y'all party. I don't. Or I had it, on my time.
My bad.
I'm out partying and meeting people. I'm out just for a party. Okay. You could take it like a dance.
it takes a few days or whatever. Like
Hey, Sylvia says she hitting the Macarena.
trying to get to know somebody.
Oh no, for
So you can hit the
already,
Macarena. We ain't soulmates.
That's right.
That's
right. You gotta dance first.
You can't spin me around. We ain't soulmates.
I'm moving on that level.
Right.
But I usually know what I want before before I go after it. So I don't know.
You're not going after every girl for marriage, though, are you?
Nah. But when I know I am, then it's a whole different approach from if I, you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't I put my stuff out on the table in front. You feel me? And if you ain't feeling it, then that let me know. All right, let me go my other way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's just me though.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way of looking at it too. Putting your stuff out there on the table right there.
All right, but then
letting your cards out already.
You get your heart broken a lot like that too. You
see,
me? But
when you lay your cards out on the table and you got them turned over, that's when that significant others start to play memory.
Memories. What do you mean play memory?
Yeah.
Remember Old Maid? Remember Old Maid?
What is Old Maid? I don't know what that is.
That type of memory. Type of memory game. Oh, like Old Maid.
Old Maid match.
Old Maid, yeah. You match the cards.
Matching the cards.
Yeah.
Is that a California name? Because I've never heard of that.
Sylvia, it's one of our old school games when we was young. So I don't know.
Yeah, card matching. Okay, like say you flip over a star and you flip over a circle, you got to flip back over. But if you flip over a star and you flip over another star, you got to match. That's what I'm talking. That's what I mean. Something like that.
It's called memory.
Yeah. They play. They playing that game with you.
Oh,
I see. When you start playing them type of games, that's a red flag.
But not everybody you meet you want to marry. I mean, really, being realistic. If you meet 10 people, how many out of 10, if there's even one that you would think of that you want to marry? I mean, how
you got 10 partners?
One. Huh? Meet someone.
Who got 10 partners?
Man, who doing that 10 people at a time?
Oh, no, I didn't say, well,
That's
Oh,
way.
come on, Blocks,
what
man.
I'm saying.
You blowing things out of proportion.
If you
He said,
if you-
he said,
Oh,
10
see,
at
that's
a
your
time, bro.
mind,
Come
man.
on,
What's your
man.
mind? Your mind say,
Look at
okay.
you. Oh
My
my
boy said 10 at a time.
God.
Gosh, you talking about 10 people, not 10 people at a
That's-
time, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Being in a relationship with 10 people at a time. I know what I'm saying. What are you saying?
So you got to be more specific, my brother.
I ain't gotta be nothing. You just get your mind out the gutter, boy.
Yes, yes.
No, bro. See, when you said 10 people at a time, you got to think about the way you word it, fam.
Well, I am sorry.
I
Well,
didn't change the subject though.
right.
Nah, you ain't subject.
So
Because when you're out having a good time, whether you're fishing or you at the park, I mean, going to the movie, going to parties, you're gonna meet
yeah,
more than
auntie.
people. You might dance with more than
Hey, whether you boiling crabs or not, gotcha. Got
Oh, that's
Got
right.
her.
Everybody
I
sitting
got
down
her.
eating.
I
That's
had to
funny.
give Latoya on that one.
That's that is so
It's-
funny.
It's a crab party, y'all.
It is. It is.
Mhm.
Oh well. Well,
So here's another question. After you meet the family and friends, right? When do you think it's time to talk about having kids? Talk about having kids, when you done seen
it's before
Well-
you buy that engagement ring. It's before you buy that, before you invest. Because the
Before you- okay.
engagement ring is an investment.
Okay, yeah. There
Okay.
you go. You,
So
okay,
before
yeah, you
you
knew where I
start
was
shelling
going
out
with it.
that money,
You knew where I was going with it. Okay.
and you need to
Gotcha.
sit down and talk about, meeting of mind.
Mhm.
You need to talk about what your goals are, what your financial goals are, children, the whole bit. That's when you discuss everything. So there's no surprises. Okay.
Mhm.
And then if, after your discussion, if you're satisfied and say, okay, because you love her anyway, then you make your investment. But you don't be making your investments before you have sat down and find out what the real deal is. Okay.
All right.
And that's when people get all upset. Men get upset. I spent all this money and because you didn't spend the time. There was no communication. You didn't spend the time to find out the important things. And talking about kids, talking about your finances is very important because it impacts the marriage the most. Me as a woman, what I would want to know from the jump street is that as your spouse, I am number one. I come first in front of everybody, family, kids, whatever. So as long as a man makes their spouse number one, they have a happy spouse. And if you have a happy spouse, you're gonna have a happy home. So I would like to get that. I like to get that cleared up right away.
Okay. What you was gonna say, Latoya?
So what if they already got like either the male or the father or the female, whichever one, they already have like kids already from previous relationships?
Well, you know the answer to that as a woman. You know that if a man loves you, if he loves you, he has to love your children. So that solves that. If he don't love the children or don't like the children, don't have time, then then he's not the one.
Mm.
This is what I have told us.
So even if the man, even if the man is in a predicament where he's very in love with the parent, but when it comes to the children, he really ain't feeling them.
No, then then you don't bring that man in your house.
Well,
Absolutely. No, you don't do that.
yeah, for me, they got to. I have 4 kids. Now that and with this lifetime after the first marriage and have 4 kids later, that's one of the first things I'm throwing out when I first meet a person. Hey, I'm a mother of 4 kids, and I don't have little baby kids. I have big kids. And ranging from ages soon to be 13 to 18 now. Yeah, I have children. So if you're trying to talk to me, you're gonna have to accept my kids. And I let them know, yeah, I know my kids are not perfect, but they're not bad kids and not being a statistic as well. However, they are challenging because you're dealing with 4 different personalities and 4 different moods that comes along with it. So, and I know my even number babies, the ones that were born on even numbers, they a little bit more feisty. So
Yeah.
my 4th child
Mhm.
are feisty.
Well, I tell you something that's true with me. I-
Oldest and baby boy, they're laid back and chill. So
Yeah. I tell you something true that happened to me. I fell in love with this gentleman, and he had 3 kids, and he was divorced from his wife. And I know he loved me, but he would not marry me. And the reason why he wouldn't marry me is, he said, because I didn't have children. So he felt by me not having children, I wouldn't be able to deal with his children. So in that case, it wasn't a matter of me not loving the kids. It was just the fact that I didn't have children. What do you guys say about that?
Mm.
So, because you
Yeah.
didn't have children, and he had children.
That's what he said. And we all know, bottom line is that you didn't love me as much as I love you, because you would have accepted it anyway. But that's what he said basically, is the fact that I didn't have children, that he didn't think that I would be able to deal with his kids. So it had nothing to do with love, had everything to do with that. And then in retrospect, it's like, well, I think that was just
It was maybe more so love. It was more so love for his kids, and he felt. I mean, that was just his feelings. That's how he
Yeah.
felt.
Yeah. I mean, and how can you beat that? There's nothing you can say about
Yeah,
that.
I feel that his mindset was. I felt that his mindset was more bent on the experience. He was like, he felt that you ain't had no experience with kids, so
that may
you
not
know.
necessarily be true. So he kind of just assumed that she didn't have experience. I mean, she could have,
Exactly.
she had sisters and brothers that had kids. She had nieces and nephews.
Basically, he didn't think it all the way through.
think-
He just said he just out and said some masculine shit.
My thing is, with that situation, if they don't have any kids, I'm gonna ask them what kind of experience have you had an experience with a woman who have children before, because that lets me know that you've had some kind of experience. How do you feel about her kids? How does it make you? How did you interact with those kids? If you had to discipline my kids, what are your techniques that you would use to discipline my kids? I don't beat my kids. I don't beat my kids, and I don't do harmful things to my kids. So I'm not expecting you to do something totally different from me. And I've gone through something similar like that with the relationship where it was like I gave them permission to discipline my kids, and it went overboard. And then and then, after the whole relationship is all done and me and my kids had to sit down and talk, I discovered some stuff that just really bothers me to this day about that whole situation. And the person had the audacity to Facebook me and ask me, can I be friends with them again? No, we can't be friends, because for one, my kids revealed some stuff that you was doing behind my back that I didn't even know you.
Pistol to his head.
And before I allow you to come back into my life, I think I would shoot you dead.
Damn.
And we're not even trying to get to that point. So best bet for me is to let you stay where you at and I'll be where I'm at.
Right. I agree. You definitely like you definitely gonna need to stay away, because that's bad blood right there.
My kids revealed some shit.
And I have this other situation where, even if it comes to the point of where we're serious in a relationship or whatever, you have that opportunity when you're with me to do right by me. If you screw up during that time or whatever, don't expect me to be like, yeah, we could try it again, because
Right.
I'm having the back of my mind of what you did, like what you did wrong towards.
Because everybody got standards, and I don't mean to cut you off, but everybody got standards. And when you face with the moment of opportunity, and you see the significant other, raising that red flag, showing you otherwise than what you expect, and that it's fair. It's like, I gotta say the nay no. Hey, I love Pootie Tang. I gotta say the nay no.
That's funny.
Problem that I've had with previous relationship is I try to give the benefit of the doubts and some of the red flags a show, and I'm like, maybe I'm just second guessing myself. And so I think that's part of why I never was so quick to jump in and out of relationships after my kid's father, is because I didn't want my kids seeing different males coming in and out of their life, in and out of their life, in and out of their life. Then they get attached to this person and something happens, and then now they're attached to this person. They got feelings for this person, and we ain't on the same pages no more. So I'm not really quick to want to enter into relationships at this day and time of my life, with me knowing that I have kids. And although they're older, 3 of them are still now minors, although one has just graduated to adulthood yesterday. So that being said, I'm not quick to want to put people in and out of their lives or whatever. I'm open with my kids. I talk to them about people that I've met, but like the one that I was talking to, we agreed that we're not going to introduce my kids until we knew that we was ready to go through that next step. And that was a mutual agreement that me and him had, because I just don't want to repeat what I had after the kids' dad. And that was one relationship after my kids' dad. And I haven't had any other relationships outside of the one that we on a mutual respect situation or whatnot. And at this point, until we are in a household together and living together, is one of those things where we're living our lives the way we need to live our lives and respecting each other's wishes about what's going on or whatever, and being respectful and just being honest about what's going on. So it's just still kind of like doing the communication phase or whatever, and having an understanding. And when it's time to get to that next level or whatever holds in the future, then we'll cross that path. But for right now, we're keeping it to the point. He knows of the kids. I know of his daughter, but we not where we can be together like how I would like to be. And until we get our situations, our ducks or whatever in the order that it needs to be, we're living our life as if we're not even in a relationship at all, because he got to take care of stuff and he feel like I need to have myself situated. I don't want to take on you because you deserve so much more. I don't want to take you on right now, knowing that my life is not where I want it to be at, to where I can handle taking care of you and your kids and everything. So whatever you got to do, if that means you got to go and ask baby daddy for help or do what you got to do, I'm going to step back and let you handle your business as a woman and not interfere with whatever you got going on, respect the wishes or whatever. And I'm gonna do what I need to do, take care of me on the other side. So whenever that time do come and we do cross path again, we can try it again. So I respect that. It was straight honesty. It was straight honesty. And then, he's younger than me. So I'm like, I can't do nothing but respect you because you're honest with me. You're not sugarcoating nothing. You're not beating around the bush about stuff. You're telling me straight up what's going on with you or whatever. And I can't do nothing but respect that. You're not puppeteering me around and giving me this false pretense about what could be when you're telling me straight up, I'm not in a position to where I can handle your life.
And it takes a real person to be to to admit themselves whether they wrong or right. It takes a real person. Continue. I just want to say that.
Absolutely.
So
Well,
and he was like, I love you that much to let you do what you gotta do and handle your business. And he's like when the roles were reversed and I had to go handle some business on my end with the new baby and baby mama and going through her, not wanting different people around, you respect me enough to let me take care of my business. So I'm gonna respect you and let you handle your business because I understand. So
hey, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Building blocks, you have any last words?
I just want to say to the Mohicans out there, man, y'all take care of yourself and check on them families, man. They give you a lot of game on the person you're talking to. You know what I mean? Whether it's good or bad. But then also,
and if they shady family members
too.
Right. Go ahead.
Get to know them yourself too. What you saying, Rod?
I was about to say, and if they shady family members, well, I would say if they shady family members that want to
down talk,
that want to play that game along with they family, you really got to look, you really got to look into them friends. You really got to look into them friends, them close friends, because those are the ones that's gonna slip up and show you the true colors.
Yeah. And just
in my opinion, shady family members is going to do anything to try to make you look really bad because they either envy you or they just don't want to see you happy.
Hey, man, it's just about
keep a long story short. You gotta have that third eye. You got to keep that third eye on.
Yeah, I think the friends will help you show the truth, but they may show it to you where you're seeing the real versus you have these assumption thoughts in your mind because of how the shady family members or friends or whatever who's trying to do anything to make the person look bad. So I would like to have the real anytime or whatever, because that's going to show the true colors the best, and you're going to see all sides versus them always constantly being ugly because they're in a defensive mode.
Right. And also people change, when it comes to family, you can't change, but when it comes to their dynamics, as far as their friends, people change, relationships do dictate that, you might be running with that wild crowd and then you meet the one and that one settles you down, so, so that's when you get into, again, having communication with that person and finding out what are their goals in life. If you have someone that don't have any goals, that might be a big red flag. And so I think family influence is much more important than friends. But
and let me get my last thoughts on this. And if you're one to feel that that you need to going into a relationship and that you want to take and that you want to be able to meet the person that you can take home to moms and pops, make sure that you go with the person that has the same interest in you. Like you a quiet person that likes to read books a lot. Go to the bookstore. Go to the bookstore and look for that significant other. Or you're the type of person that that's big on critics that likes to watch movies and cartoons and all that stuff and talk about it. Take your butt to a convention. Go look for that. Go look for that significant other at a convention. Stop going to the clubs. Because that's what I be seeing. That's what I be hearing from my friends or from my family or from their friends or whatnot. They were like, "Oh, you met so and so at the club, and you wonder why you 3 years bad into it."
Oh, that's funny.
That's
funny. But opposites do attract. You know that too. But
yeah,
I'm like, I've always saved clubs for parties. I didn't.
With that being said, since opposites attract, you gotta have that mindset to be patient enough to sit down with that significant other that's the opposite of you and be like, "Look, we gotta talk about this shit because you ain't gonna keep doing this."
I think for me for right now, because I mean, it is you got the different age groups, so it's based on that age group and how they approach you or whatever. I'm too old to be meeting somebody in anybody's club. I know I may not look it, but yeah,
You're never too old.
I like the approach of the last person. We was at the VA, and I felt like I looked at bombish as hell. Like I had on a ball cap, a do-rag, a Georgia State sweatshirt, hoodie, and some jeggings on with some daggone worn out Adidas. I looked like a bomb. And
don't judge a book by its cover, but sometimes you gotta look at that and be like, really?
Really? Oh, you're funny.
But it seemed like they was more attracted to me and me being in my everyday relaxed chill mode. But they didn't do that. Hey, shawty, what's up? What's your name is? The crazy pickup line they used to do when you're young or whatever. I didn't get the crazy.
When you're young and you dressing up classy.
What's up, mommy? How you doing?
Yeah, that talk. I got the excuse me, miss, how you doing? And it was literally
you finna get that. Check it out.
It was literally a bit that I had on, but because it was blingy or whatever, and I think you used that as a way to at least start to spark up a conversation. But it was the mere fact that he was willing to do a communication conversation. We start out talking about a Fitbit, then end up talking about which branch of service and where you work at, what I'm doing in life, and then literally we both had injuries on the same hand. We talked about injuries, but it started off with something small that wasn't over the top and talking about assets of body parts to end up coming into a nice little casual conversation. And before he left in his car, which I was really surprised at what type of car he had, it was one of those, you know what? I really like you and I like the conversation. It seemed like me and you click better than the people that I've had in my previous life. And so it was like, it was a nice conversation. It wasn't one of those pickup dumb lines that they use when they have to ask. I'm just gonna put it bluntly like that.
I got 2 pickup lines that's guaranteed to work.
What are they?
I knew you was gonna say something. So
come on, let me hear it.
I'm gonna ease up on you and I'm gonna play some Kendrick Lamar and we're gonna go into conversation.
Okay.
Or else I'm gonna go up to you and I'm gonna play some J. Cole and we're gonna end up going to a conversation.
Oh, lyricist.
I'm gonna talk to you.
It's gonna be one of those things where you got them thinking about them lyrics that's floating out of Kendrick and J. Cole's mouth. Them some lyricists.
No, I was just being funny. Don't worry about it.
No, I believe you.
Yeah, I believe you too,
That was
cuz.
too detailed. I believe
fucking
you.
believe you too, cuz.
Hey, that's funny how it's believable. I ain't never did that though. I was just like I said, I was just being
You
funny.
want to though,
But
nigga.
you know, but you know something, if the person that you're talking to is really into those artists, it is gonna spark a nice little conversation because like I said, those two rappers are lyricists. They talk about stuff that really makes you think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And what I do is when I want to meet a guy, I usually go up and compliment him about something. I was like, hey, I like your haircut. Or
Mhm.
hey, I like the colors you have on. That's how I introduce myself when I'm approaching someone that catches my eye. I will give them a compliment. Because usually
I
give
just
someone
be myself. I just be myself. That's all I
I'll be
do.
funny.
that is myself.
Ah,
I like the compliment.
I'll be funny and I'll be an asshole. I'm sorry.
Because I used to be bold, and if I saw something that I want, I went after it. And I feel like me being bold and going after something that I thought I wanted has got me a lot of failed relationships because I was looking at the outer appearance and didn't get to know their mental. So
And
yeah.
that's why I give the compliment because I like to start the conversation. Because once you start, you talk to me, it doesn't take long for me to figure out where your mind is at. So yeah, I like that conversation. So we're gonna wrap this up tonight.
Yeah, we
I
wrapping
guess so.
it up. All right,
Okay.
y'all. I love y'all. Y'all be good, man.
For
Get
sure,
back
man.
to the
Appreciate you
fight.
building.
Feel me?
Mhm.
I'm watching the fight, y'all. So you feel me? But I have to
Yes.
go in the other room because we just got here to company.
For sure. Let me
Okay.
know. Yeah, let me know who win because once I get off here, man, I'm finna go straight into editing. So I ain't gonna be able to watch it. So let me know what's up.
You put a
Have you
bet
stopped
in?
recording?
Huh?
No, it's still
Have you stopped
recording.
recording?
It still say recording.
Yeah, it's still recording, of course.
Oh, I said, have you stopped recording?
So,
No, no.
Okay.
You want me to
so
stop recording?
Yes, press stop.
Yeah,
the
stop recording.
closing
You can
thoughts.
still be here, but just stop recording.
So closing thoughts. We had a great topic today.
I just stopped it.
Oh,
didn't
no,
stop.
you didn't. It still
Shut
says
up, man.
recording.
Stop
He's
it, man.
a
Shut up.
jokester tonight. He's a jokester tonight, baby LaJoy. He's still recording.
Get you off my mind.